Up 40 seconds is the gap. Already Astalos is looking over his shoulder to see if anybody's going to be with him here. Streaming over the bridge.
We've seen the right-hand corner here, pretty tight one, with the way the bunch is rolling along or going along at a fast pace. They have to be a bit careful on this one.
Into the bottom they go, Juan Antonio Fletcher and Ian Stannard. Tight little turn into the bottom, and again it is exactly as Valverde was saying, it's all about positioning here, Sean. If you're in the wrong place, it's difficult.
Yes, well, if you're back in 35, 40 position in the peloton, then you have to make a big effort to move up, and you can see the way Fletcher and Stannard are going to push on here. They're really going to sprint into the bottom and the steep part of the climb, and trying to move up there, you know, you pay for that later.
Look at this. How vicious is that? Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Just 25 seconds as Juan Antonio Fletcher looks over his shoulder to see where everybody is. Christopher Froome is lying third. He doesn't have a jersey other than the sky one on today, and out of the back already of the breakaway. Astaloza going with Kevin de Weert just behind him. Astaloza has just a handful of seconds over the main peloton now. He's got to just try and dig in and give it everything. Well, Moynard's just disappeared completely. It's Stannard setting pace here. Gilbert on the right-hand side of your screen in the Belgian helmet. And then looking down, Gilbert looks to be comfortable at the moment. With just behind him Alejandro Valverde. Astaloza trying everything he can to stay away. He's got a few seconds, but it's never going to be enough, I don't think, Sean, at all.
No, I don't think it's going to be enough, because he's making the effort very early. You know, from the moment it kicked up the steep part, he's making the big effort. We can see here in the front of the bunch, you know, different riders appearing on the front, and the big favours just getting the little bit of shelter for the moment, the drafting and playing the waiting game. And we did see a number of days ago when Contador was away, it looked like he had it all wrapped up, but in the steepness, when the guys go, you know, they just pull back 10-15 seconds in 10 meters.
They do. The white jersey there is the blue helmet is Alberto Contador. It's the combined jersey that he's wearing. 16% they're on. Just ramps up. It gets steeper and steeper and steeper from here. No fireworks yet, Sean. They're just sort of trying to keep the pace a little bit higher. As Igor Anton just a bit more pressure on the pedals, and he opens up 2 bike lengths gap over Daniel Moreno. Genesson, I think, is the man on the left-hand side from Francis de Jeux. Young Arnaud Genesson. Rodriguez sitting right on the shoulder of Alberto Contador here. Genesson beginning to suffer now as the gradient gets higher, and Anton has caught Kevin de Weert. This would be a good one for Igor Anton. He's got Astaloza up just ahead of him, and if Astaloza's got anything left in the legs, he'll try and help Igor Anton pull away if he can. This may be the best that Anton gets from the Vuelta a España. He's not been in super shape, Sean, and he seems to be getting a little stronger, but if he can take a stage win, this will make the Vuelta for him regardless.
Yes, well, he is getting stronger, because to attack here you have to be feeling real good, and we can see here as Rodriguez puts on the pressure here with Contador following, and this is where the advantage for Anton is going to come down very quickly. As we can see, he's almost on his wheel already.
Rodriguez past Igor Anton, almost completely at a standstill. Look at the effort that has having been put in by Cam Meyer. Rodriguez has launched the attack with Contador on his wheel, and Froome distanced as well as Valverde here. It's the leader of the Vuelta a España who's taking the fight to everybody else once again. Slows up just a little bit. It gets more and more steep as we go up here. can see Valverde fighting to stay in the wheel here. Is that Sergio Haino, I think, from Sky?
Yes.
Sergio Haino is the Sky rider. Contador's looking over the shoulder. They're waiting. There's going to be a big explosion here. Somebody's going to attack, surely. There's Valverde. There is Moreno. Igor Anton, Robert Hessink. Where is Froome? There. Christopher Froome goes through the shot. Just behind him is Nicolas Roche. Now, Alberto Contador turns on the gas. The steeper it gets, Sean, these two seem to be in slightly better shape, but Valverde is clawing his way back up at this point.
Yes, and we could see there Joaquim Rodriguez, Contador got through the riders we had out in front, and I think Valverde and the other riders just got a little bit into difficulty getting through them on a real steep section, but Contador trying to claw his way back here, but Valverde trying to claw his way back. Contador opened the pace here now, so it's going to be difficult. They did, as you say, just look at each other, slowed up for a moment. Valverde got very close, but it's going to be difficult for him to make it back here.
I think we're seeing the top two men certainly in the Vuelta for this year. At the moment, Joaquim Rodriguez is magnificent.
Yes, and Froome was a long ways off.
He's coming back a bit.
We could see his teammate was, pulling on the front, but Froome was 5-6 places at least further back, and now he's got through, I think, that little bit of a tight section with the other riders holding him up a bit and starting to make ground. The
two leading riders are the race leader overall, Joaquim Rodriguez in the red here, with Alberto Contador twiddling around that smaller gear here. He's on a 36, I think, in a chainring, 36, 28, something like that on the back. Rodriguez is on a bigger chainring, you could see. Maybe a 38 anyway, something like that. But you can see the smaller gearing for Alberto Contador working for him. Who's going to get the 20 seconds bonus? Rodriguez is poised to strike again at Alberto Contador. But the time gap between themselves and Froome and the Valverde group was 22 seconds at the moment. It's still getting higher and higher and steeper here. Ooh, the gap is growing out here, Sean, a little bit. And there goes Rodriguez. Drops the hammer, and away he goes. Joaquim Rodriguez is really taking this Vuelta a España by the scruff of the neck and shaking it to bits so far. It should suit him, the parkour, but he's been mightily impressive. Away he goes from Alberto Contador, who looks over his shoulder to see if there's anybody else there. Another win for Joaquim Rodriguez in a hard finish at 30%. The gap between himself and Alberto Contador is 8 seconds. Over comes Valverde at 12. Fighting up to the line comes Robert Hessink at 19 seconds. Froome over at 22, along with Daniel Moreno. Well, Rodriguez in one fell swoop, Sean, in just 2 kilometers after 188, has taken 42 seconds out of Froome.
Yes, and the steepness of this, it looked like that it was only a handful of seconds, 7-8 seconds, but the steepness and the gradient of this, it's amazing the way the clock tick out, and you lose a very big amount of time so quickly.
Well, when Rodriguez and Contador decided to up the pace, they pulled out a big advantage over Froome, especially straight away. De Klerk comes up with Igor Astalosa from the breakaway, and I think maybe Froome was just a little bit caught out by the pace that was injected at the early steep parts, Sean, and he just couldn't quite respond, but he dug in really deep to claw his way back up beyond Sergio Haino, his teammate, and he got to about 20 seconds, but that was it. There was no coming back from there.
No, I think he had to make the effort also. When you lose a little bit of ground, and I certainly think that he was held up with the riders were in the breakaway. Astallo's Monard, just as they caught them, he was a little bit further off and lost a little bit of time there because it was a little bit of a tighter section of the parcours. And then when you make the effort to come back, of course, on Contador, we could see him. He was always having a look behind, looking over his shoulder, and he could see they had the advantage, and he pushed on, but he paid for it in the end, as we can see here. When Joaquim Rodriguez, really went on in the final 150 meters, Contador was not able to follow because of the effort he made that bit earlier on.
If ever there was an illustration of people's specific abilities in riding, this Vuelta has been it, Sean, and you could see exactly what everybody is good at. Joaquim Rodriguez is excellent at these very steep, short, punchy climbs. Contador has been able, he's get up fast cadence, high cadence, attacking riding, but when it comes to this super steep stuff, all the bullets are gone.
Yes,
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it's interesting, and I think that's explosive stuff. Joaquim Rodriguez is a real specialist at that, and we've seen him in the past. In his early part of his career, he was a real specialist at that before he became an all-rounder and a big tour potential winner. And he's on fire now with the performance yesterday in the time trial, still holding on to the lead. He is really up for this one, and any opportunity to take extra time from the other big favourites, he's doing it, and that was a demonstration once again today.
Joaquim Rodriguez takes the stage and the 20 seconds bonus. Alberto Contador at 8 seconds, he gets 12 seconds. Sorry, the 12 seconds bonus for Rodriguez. 8 seconds bonus for Alberto Contador, and 4 for Alejandro Valverde. Hesink and Froome almost together. Moreno actually coming in with Christopher Froome. Then Igor Anton, who launched an earlier attack on the slopes, looking quite strong. And here's the general classification. Contador is at 13 seconds from Rodriguez now. Froome at just under a minute, 51 seconds. Valverde at 1 minute and 20. Both of them losing time today. Hesink at 2:59. Did pretty well, actually, in limiting his losses, did Hesink, as he started the day today at 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Moreno at 3:29. Stays exactly the same position, but loses time. Magnificent finish here in Dumbria. Well, that's blown it even more wide open, Sean, with Rodriguez hanging on yesterday in the time trial, and today taking more seconds out of everybody.
Yes, well, Rodriguez has certainly took a bigger grip on this race now. The demonstration he put up today, and taking a very valuable time from Contador and from all the other favourites. Christopher Froome, of course, down now to 51 seconds. It's getting into a position where it's going to be more difficult for him. And I think Contador, Rodriguez, Contador in the bigger climbs, I think that's where Contador possibly come into his own. He's a better one in the long climbs, where Joaquim Rodriguez unbeatable in this style of finish. And Nicholas Roach finishing 30 seconds down, still holding on there to his place, 7th overall, so also a good performance.
So Joaquim Rodriguez takes the win, takes an extra 12 seconds as well on top of that. 8 seconds bonus to Alberto Contador, 4 to Alejandro Valverde, and that was a mighty finish. Very impressive, Joaquim Rodriguez, so far. Well, tomorrow, Sean, it's just one of those up and down days tomorrow. It's not exceptionally, there's no categorized climbs at all, but it just always rises and falls. Maybe tomorrow, they'll just let the break go.
Well, I think, David, you would make a good director sportif. That's the song they will be all singing to the riders tonight and tomorrow morning. Guys, today is the day the break is going to succeed. And I would agree, because, it's the undulating. For the sprinters is a little bit difficult, so they might not be too keen on holding on. And, of course, the general classification men really nothing to gain in the final sprint, because there's always somebody who will be better than the top 4 or 5 in the general classification to take the bonification times.
Santiago de Compostela Great pilgrimage destination is the start for tomorrow to Ferrol, 172.8 kilometers on stage 13. And as we just said, it's just up and down all day, not necessarily, there's nothing categorized, just with that rolling countryside. And if the weather might well play a part, if it's hot again, they might let the breakaway go. If it's windy, that will make a big difference. Joaquim Rodriguez leads overall then by 13 seconds from Alberto Contador, 51 from Froome. Valverde at now 1 minute and 20 odd back. Gosh, that was an explosive attack. And as you say, Sean, he had absolutely nothing in the legs, Contador, to go with him this time. All that work he'd done.
Yes, well, when you make the effort for 150 meters on a steep gradient like we've here, well, then it's somebody just a little bit of extra pace, impossible to follow.
Tomorrow then 1600 CET, that's 1500 BST, Santiago de Compostela to Ferrol, 172.8 kilometers in total for stage 13 here on the Vuelta a España. Joaquim Rodriguez, well, he would have come in as one of the favourites. He's ridden a very clever race so far. He's used all his strengths, all his skills. And once again, the Vuelta a España has proved to be the best entertainment we've had so far in a Grand Tour. It's not dissing either of the two. They're all just different, that's the thing. I'm not really a subscriber to one being better than the other. They're different every year, and I just enjoy everyone for whatever it is. They all have myriad facets to them, whatever they are. But a terrific race so far for the Vuelta a España, and Rodriguez has played very clever all the way through. And we've been blessed with magnificent weather as well, which is good. Tomorrow's stage will run from Santiago de Compostela, so inland slightly, out towards the coast at the provincial capital at A Coruña, and then almost follows the coastline really to Ferrol. Not a difficult stage by any means tomorrow. And they run into Ferrol, back out, and then back in again. Long straight run into the finish, well over a kilometre of a long straight road. And if the sprinters teams want to bring it back, then I suppose they do have another chance tomorrow. John Degenkolb's team will want to take something. That is the other thing tomorrow, is that there are sprinters teams who've got nothing yet, who will want to try and control the breakaway. But, you know, it's just one of those days tomorrow. You look at the profile and think, it's very possible they could just stay away.